Hello once again, everybody. We are on the grounds of Farm Science Review 2017, visiting with Doug Hemm of K Buildings. Doug, we've been here in years past and, in parts around the state talking with you about some of the many advantages of the buildings that K Buildings utilizes and presents to anyone that wants to have a solid structure. First of all, let's talk about the red iron.
Well, the red iron is the difference of the K building from any of the other competitors' buildings. We fabricate the steel mainframes, which is often referred to as the red iron, and then our end walls. And really, that's what's different about our building and the all-steel guys or even the wood fellas.
And I suppose in this day and age when we've come through the hurricanes in the south and people are thinking a little bit more about some of those high winds, a building like this can withstand a lot of wind, and where some of the other buildings are sort of twisted after it's all said and done.
Well, and that's very true, and I think a lot of that goes back to how the building itself is constructed. You know, the unique thing about a K building is every fastener is already determined, pre-engineered for location, for size, and number of fasteners, and whether it's the consumer that puts a K building together or it's one of our experienced crews, the K building is going to be put together in the exact same manner. And I think that adds to a lot of the strength, ultimately, for the K building to resist a lot of the high winds you're talking about.
Well, Doug, some of the things that you've been able to present to those folks that would purchase buildings in the past, if they ever in the future, after purchasing a building, want to maybe do some fine-tuning, add on, be a little more creative, you have ways that you can help that purchaser get that done.
Well, like so many things, you know, after the building is done and some years go by, you kind of forget some details as to, you know, what the different things were that went into your building. But with a K building, on our end walls, we actually rivet an ID tag to the end of the end wall, and on there is the birth date of the building, as well as a unique ID number, along with all the phone numbers for our manufacturing facility. So if at any point a customer would like to repurpose that building, put on a lean-to or whatever he may want to do, he can simply call that number, give us his ID number, and we'll have all the specifications of anything that we have supplied to his building, covering windows, walk doors, all of that would be included.
You know, Doug, I think some of the early days of buildings were used for maybe storage of equipment, different sizes of equipment, storage of on-farm products, and then came along an equestrian building that K Buildings presented to folks, helping to keep the birds out of the tops of the buildings. And now we've come to, I guess, the next generation of livestock buildings.
Well, it's our monoslope building, and we're very excited about that, as are a lot of the livestock producers excited about that. And to the novice, it's going to look like half a building, because you absolutely have a high side and a low side to that. And the concept between the monoslopes is that in livestock, it's not about keeping them warm, it's about keeping them cool. And so with our monoslopes, they'll be faced to the south. And in the winter, the sun will come back to the back of the building, keeping them somewhat warm. And then in the summer, it will remain shaded because of the solstice and the way the sun changes for us. And we're also putting that on a 10-foot basement, essentially, and a slat floor. So the manpower it takes to maintain that herd is a lot less because of that slatted floor and letting a lot of the manure go down to the basement and collect. And then once a year they address that and empty that. It's just a lot more efficient building. It's healthier for the animals. It creates a better environment because of the air exchange and the way that building can breathe. And it just works out better for everybody.
Now, how many locations does K Buildings have now?
Dealer locations, we are stretched now from Pennsylvania to Iowa and from Kentucky up through Michigan. And so our dealer network now, I think, is somewhere in the area of 20 or 25 dealers that we've got. There's 11 throughout PA itself. And so that is an area that we have been working on, as you know, for many years, of just expanding that footprint. And it's working out pretty well.
If folks would like to get a little bit more information, what's the best way for them to do that?
I think the best way is to go online at www.kbuildings.com. We also have a YouTube channel. We also have Facebook and Twitter, which are other great resources to go to. And whether you want to go online and request a quote or simply take our 800 number and call us directly, we're there to answer whatever questions you have.
Doug Hemm has been our guest. Doug, always a pleasure. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
And stay with us, back with more right after this.